Well, we're here at Hampton High School, everybody, and welcome. Mike Hauser along with Paul Rowe. I think the national anthem got interrupted a little bit there, but at least we're getting ready to start playing here on a cool Tuesday afternoon here, the 4th of April, 2006.
At Hampton High School with a good wind blowing, and it looks like it's blowing, I'd say, out to right field tonight.
Looks like it, left or right, as you look from center field. It is quite breezy. It seems like it swirls around, hits us in the back a lot over here where they have it set up on some staging.
And we got a nice setup today, don't we, Mike?
This is not bad. If you take a half a step backwards, we're going to be laying on our back here about 6 foot down. But that's all right. We got a good view of the game anyhow.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, we're in what we refer to as the Eagle's Nest this afternoon, and scaffolding up above the field at Hampton High School. And like Mike said, we have a fantastic view of the field today, so you're going to get some good calls. And, of course, we got the best cameramen in the world on the cameras out there, so hopefully we'll have some good shots there, too.
And today's game is the homestanding Crabbers of Hampton High School. They are playing host to the Phantoms of Phoebus. Phantoms come in here 0-5 on the season. They've had 3 or 4 of their games have really gone down to the wire, and but came up on the short end of the total poll to score. And the Crabbers 2-4 on the season, 1-3 in the district. Their one win so far was against the Dukes of Gloucester.
Both teams kind of struggling right at the moment, as you mentioned. Hampton 0-5. Phoebus 0-5. They're a young team. You mentioned the games were close, and they've been in the ball games. They've made up games, so the kids are getting the experience they need, and eventually they're going to break out of this.
Yeah, right now, the district, as far as the records are concerned, Denby trails the Minchville Monarchs by 1 full game, losing to Minchville last week, and a barn burner of sorts. Like 6 or 7 home runs that were in that game, but
they were bombs over there that day.
Minchville Monarchs 5-0 on the season. Denby is 4-1. They're 1 game out, and then there's a host of teams, along with Heritage, Bethel, Kickingham, that are 3-2 entering today's contest.
Looks like things are beginning to start here.
As the Phoebus Phantoms coming to the plate now, their leadoff batter is Preston Whaley, their third baseman. First pitch is in there for a strike. We'll give you the starting lineups there just as soon as we can get Andy to put them up on the board.
Nice view from the camera.
Pitch was a little high, evens the count at 1-1. The battery for the Crabbers on the mound,
Matt Schaefer.
And behind the plate is Ben Ferris. Pop up to the infield. There's the shortstop for the Crabbers coming in to make the play. 1 out.
So Phoebus failed to get their leadoff batter on, and here is the Phoebus lineup, ladies and gentlemen. Leading off and playing third base, Preston Wilson. Batting second, the shortstop, Cleve Holbrook. Batting third, first baseman Carl Barnes. In the cleanup spot, right fielder Joe Carnes. Batting fifth, the designated hitter Donald Grogan. The pitcher, number 11, Eric Barnes.
That is a fly ball to the infield again. The shortstop for the Crabbers over to make that play for out number 2.
Sean Fields all over the place here for the first 2 batters. And we'll get the rest of the lineup here, ladies and gentlemen. Batting 7th, left fielder Paul Ham out of the, 6th. Batting 7th, second baseman Justin Landry, then the catcher Mike Schmidt, and center fielder Aaron Hawkins.
And Carl Barnes, the first baseman, is at the plate now batting. First pitch in there for a strike. 2 down here in the top of the first inning as we get started here at Hampton High School. And what a job Danny Mitchell's done with this field.
Looks nice, doesn't it?
Last night we had some torrential storms. There's a ground ball to the third baseman. Bobble picks it up and gets him out at the plate. Nice play.
Nice recovery by the third baseman over there for the Crabbers. That's Cody Sheets, I believe. Makes a good play. Stayed in front of the ball, and that's what you've got to do.
So for the Phantoms in the top of the first inning, no runs, no hits, no errors, 3 up and 3 down. We enter.
Here comes that last play to end the inning. Gets a good pitch to hit. Doesn't quite get enough of it, though. Grounds it right to third base. Good, quick throw. Gets him by about, half step to a step. So that was the 3rd out.
You see who that was? Mike Smith. Mike Smith's standing down here at the bottom of the stage and looking at us sitting on this thing with his hand doing this number like, man, if you move a little bit, you might be going backwards.
He's probably been on enough of these watching the football practices.
And we'll show you the Crabbers lineup now as Put them up on the board. There they are.
And here's the way the Crabbers are going to set up. Starting off will be the shortstop, Sean Fields. He'll be followed by second baseman Matt Mitchell. Batting out of the third hole, the pitcher Matt Schaefer, and the cleanup batter, catcher Ben Ferris. Batting fifth, the first baseman Ryan Trimble. Sixth will be the right fielder Charles Ricks. Batting next will be third baseman Cody Sheets. He'll be followed by the designated hitter Chaz Norman, who will be hitting for Colby Owens, the center fielder. And then batting out of the nine-hole, left fielder Jesse Shepard.
All righty, on the mound for the Phoebus Phantoms is Eric Barnes, and behind the plate, Mike Schmidt. Over at third base is Preston Whaley. Shortstop is Cleve Holbrook. The second baseman, Justin Landry. And playing over at first base is Carl Barnes. Out in the outfield defensively for the Phantoms, Paul Hamm is the left fielder. The center fielder is Aaron Hawkins, and the right fielder, Joe Carnes. That's how the Phantoms set themselves up defensively as we enter the bottom of the first inning. Leading off for the Crabbers will be the shortstop, number 1, Sean Fields.
And this guy, Mike, was one of the catalysts for them last year. He was a freshman last year. He's brought up and had to play varsity. Did a very credible job. He's an exciting player to watch. Good speed, handles the bat well, got quick hands. You don't want to give him anything to hit, because if you do, he can drive it for his size. I understand he also played football.
Sean Fields, excellent player. Guess that's why Mike Smith's out here. He's looking at his football players on this field. Of course, there's a whole lot less likelihood of an injury on this field than there would be on a football field.
I'll go along with that.
There's the first pitch of the bottom of the first inning. Fields takes the ball. No score here as we enter the bottom of the first inning to play. Nice day today. Take care of get rid of that wind. It would really be nice out here, but that wind is a little loud. You could probably hear it in the hits. We can hear it in the hits.
The mics,
so I'm sure that they're hearing it. Pitches a ball, 2-0 is to count.
Sean Fields with a lot of movement as he stands in the box.
3-0 now is to count on Fields.
Fields batting .294 for the year for the Crabbers. With the speed, he's got 3 stolen bases. He's one of 2 Crabbers with 3 stolen bases, leading the team in that department. He's got 5 hits and 17 at-bats, and he scored 5 runs. 2 of those hits have been doubles, so he does have the speed and the pop to get the ball in the gap.
Yeah, that's the whole purpose for a leadoff batter, is to be able to get that runner on, to be able to advance around.
Move around.
That's where your speed is. Inside, ball 4 as Fields reaches first base with a 4-pitch walk.
And that's his 5th walk of the season.
Next batter is the second baseman, Matt Mitchell, number 3. Matt, the son of the head coach, Danny Mitchell. Great young man. Plays. He's the kicker on the football team.
Yes, he is.
As he started doing that last season, did quite well.
And Mike, this young man, we'll wait till the pitch goes through.
And there goes Fields.
And he's going to get that one easy. If you're playing a Danny Mitchell team, you've got to be on the lookout for aggressive baseball. He's going to run, he's going to bunt, he's going to hit and run, he's going to make you make the mistakes.
So Fields at second base now after the stolen base. Mitchell is the batter. And I believe the first pitch was a strike.
Hard to see the board from here, but we'll find out in just a minute.
That one's fouled straight back. Waiting for our umpire, Mr. Galt, to give us a signal. It is 1-1, so the first pitch was called a ball. Squares around the bunt and fouls it off back behind the catcher. 1 ball and 2 strikes now. So Mitchell will go back up there and probably be swinging away. I've known Danny to say, let's go ahead and try to put it down again, but I don't think he's going to do it this time, because he looked at his son and said, just hit it away.
Yeah. Matt's really progressed well this year. He struggled last year. He's really turned it on. He's hitting about .308, handles the bat real well, can go the other way. I see a lot of big things from young Matt Mitchell in the coming years. He's only a sophomore. I think the power will develop, and you'll see a good ball player here.
Swing and a miss, strikeout for the first out of the inning. That's going to bring up the pitcher, number 13, Matt Schaefer. Again, with Fields down at second base after a walk and a stolen base to get him there, as they bring in Matt Schaefer, the pitcher, now to try to get him advanced. Got a runner in scoring position. This is the first runner of the game that's reached that point. Pitch is a ground ball up the middle, through the hole. Base hit, and here comes Fields. They're not going to get him with his speed. Very easily comes around on the base hit by Matt Schaefer.
Matt Schaefer, another one of the young kids on the Hampton team. The first three batters, all sophomores. You saw good bat control there. The leadoff batter gets on, walk, good eyes. Here comes that base hit. Schaefer, the 10th grader, just takes it right back up the middle. There's no way they're going to get to that ball. The throw is up the line, so the runner's going to score. With Field speed, he was going to score anyway, but it'd have been tough with a good throw. Real hard.
Looks like we got a pinch runner, Omar Dickens, now over at first base for the batter, Schaefer. So Pickens is at first base, and now batting is the catcher, Ben Ferris, and there
we go again.
Goes to hit the run again as Dickens will advance to second base on a stolen base.
And the wheels are turning, and Hampton is running. They're going to force this game right here in the first inning. 2 stolen bases already, and a base hit. 1 run in, and threatening again.
Pitch is high. 1-1 is the count to the batter, Ben Ferris. Catcher.
He's one of the few seniors on the team, too, Mike.
Yeah, he was one of their catchers. He was the catcher last year. They lost a lot last year when they got seniors graduating.
Yeah, they did.
There are a lot of their pitching staff. There's a line shot, base hit to left field. It's going to score Dickens. And 2 consecutive singles have plated the Crabbers with 2 runs. So Ferris picks up a base hit and an RBI. That's going to bring up the first baseman, number 12, Ryan Trimble. Still nobody else. There's one out here as Mitchell struck out.
And we got another runner coming in there, Mike.
That is number 2, and that's Antoine Bynum is the pinch runner for Trimble, the first baseman. Again, the batter is number 12, the first baseman, Ryan Trimble. Throw back to first. Back easily was Bynum. Ooh, that wind is definitely picking up now, isn't it?
And I expect with the way Danny's been playing this, we're going to see something going here. And Phoebus is on the lookout for it. They'll throw over again.
Well, Bynum's getting a pretty good lead over there. And he was all the way out to the edge of the grass, and he still is. So he's got a great lead, and there he goes. I mean, there was no question that he was going to go.
And he got a good pitch to throw him out, but it wasn't even close. It's a good pitch for the catcher. It was up high at his chest. He was able to take it and get it down there, but...
Well, we've got 2 base hits. We've got 3 stolen bases, and we have 2 runs. 1 out here in the bottom of the first inning, and the Crabbers are jumping on the Phantoms hard right now in the first inning. 2-0. Ball's a little outside. 2-0 is the count to Trimble.
And we'll see what the senior, Mr. Trimble, can do. Excuse me, Trimble is another sophomore. Check that.
They have a really, really young team. Last year when they had the 3 or 4 seniors on the squad, the rest of the team that were starting were all freshmen. Timeouts called as Phantom's coaching staff will go out and chit-chat with their pitcher right now.
Looks like Coach Snyder going to talk to his young pitcher, try and calm him down a little bit. They've been hitting him hard, moving on him.
We talked a little bit about the Crabbers last year. They lost their premier pitching staff, and they did really well. And 4 or 5 of these young players were freshmen. They played last year as starters.
Sure did.
And did really, really well for them. And so this year, they had their hopes for improving on the season. Basically, it's hinging on the pitching staff at this point.
Yeah, Fields started for him last year. He was a 9th grader then. Mitchell also, Schaefer, as well as Tremble. All 4 of those started as freshmen.
There's a strike in there. 2-1 is the count now. Well, it's 3-1. The board says 3-2.
Oh, now the board's working.
I thought the umpire just gave 3-1, but of course,
of
course it don't matter because that's a foul ball, and that makes it 3-2.
They must have heard
our umpire behind the plate, Mr. Galt, when he gives us signals, he's sideways to us, so it's kind of hard to see, you know. And we have about 3 poles that are stopping us from seeing the scoreboard unless we lean back. And let me tell you,
we don't want to lean back.
We are not going to lean back.
Don't want to lean back.
So there's Trimble, who reaches base safely with a walk. That's going to bring up Charles Ricks, the right fielder. He's a senior. Mr. Ricks, great young man, played ball with my son with AAU a few years, so I know who this young man is. His mom and dad are great people. There's a swing and a miss on a nice curveball.
Yeah, it looked like he took a little off that one. He was a little out front.
0-1 is the count. 1 down here in the bottom of the first inning. Now the Crabbers out in front already, 2-0 on great hit and run combinations. Pitch is a little low and outside. 1-1 is the count.
Crabbers showcasing some of their speed already here in the first inning. As Mike said earlier, 3 stolen bases. It's helped produce 2 runs.
Curveball's fouled back here off the catcher's mask. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Is the count to Mr. Ricks. Bottom of the first inning. I tell you what, considering all the rain and all we had last night, they're in the cloud in the sky. Swing and a miss for the second out of the inning.
And I'm glad it's not, because I didn't bring my umbrella.
2 down now in the bottom of the first. Cody Sheets, the third baseman, number 5, is now batting.
Cody, a sophomore. You're going to hear us say that a lot today, folks. 10th graders, sophomores. Cody Sheets is one of those, batting .273. Solid stick. But it looks like Mr. Carnes is beginning to find himself here. Getting the batter to swing at that off-speed breaking pitch to the outside of the plate.
0-1 now is the count.
There's Danny moving again, and he's going to get it.
Both runners advance, stolen base. Ball was there, but not quite handled by the Phantoms' third base. So now with runners on second and third, 2 down. Pitch, I believe, was a ball. 1-1 now should be the count.
Good time for Sheets to go the other way here and see if he can get a run in.
Oh, perfect pitch. Nice pitch. Curveball. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Cody. Crabber, third baseman.
If I'm Mr. Barnes, I'm looking at the breaking pitch on the lower half. There it is.
Throws a fastball. Fly ball to right field and makes the out for the third out of the inning. That'll end it for the Crabbers in the bottom of the first inning. They had 2 runs on 2 hits, had 3 stolen bases in that inning, and they are out in front of the Phoebus Phantoms by a score of, that's right, there was 5 because you got that double steal. They ended up with 5 stolen bases.
Stolen bases in 1 inning. Here's the last play of the inning there, folks. He gets a pitch. It was a fastball down and away rather than a breaking pitch, and he drilled it toward right field. He was going in the right direction, but too much under it, a little air. Hangs it up enough for the fielder to get under it. That's the third out.
So the Crabbers, after 1 complete, are out in front of the Phoebus Phantoms by a score of 2-0. Now, if you want to do your sports, ESPN sports theme that you were doing earlier, go for it.
All right, now I'm getting that music from the booth over there, both inside and outside here. I feel like I've got my own personal radio.
Schaefer. Matt Schaefer out there for the Crabbers pitching.
Andy trying to get me to pull a Don Meredith here. Start singing in the booth.
Lord have mercy. You call this a booth?
Well, on second thought.
All right, Joe Carnes, the right fielder, number 15 for the Phantoms, leads off the top of the second inning.
Oh, Lord.
Not sure what's going on here now, but the umpire, Mr. Galt's called timeout and is having a little chit-chat with him for whatever reason.
Well, that was interesting.
Okay, here we go.
Didn't seem to be anything too important.
Pitch is low. 1-0. Top of the second inning, 2-0. Crabbers out in front as they jumped on the Phantoms right off, having a couple of base hits. They led off the inning with a walk. And like you said, 5 stolen bases credited to the Crabbers in that first inning. Had a double steal. Fortunately for Phoebus, that didn't come back to haunt them as both runners were stranded.
No, but it did put something in their heads, Mike. We've both been around baseball long enough to know you put that much pressure in aggressive play in the first inning, and from now on, Phoebus is going to have to watch for the steal. They're going to have to hold the runners close.
And I tell you what, Cody Sheets hit that fly ball to right field. He went with the pitch, and that was the place to go anyhow. Swing and a miss by Joe Carnes for the first out of the inning.
That was a good little pitch there by Schaefer.
One down, as that's going to bring up the designated hitter, Donald Grogan.
The DH. One day we'll get rid of that and go back to real baseball.
Pitch is a little outside ball. 1-0. Yeah, it takes away from the game, I think. It takes away from the strategy of the game as far as I'm concerned. That's fouled straight back. 1-1 is the count.
Well, it adds more excitement. I can see that. People come out to watch the hits, watch the runs, and that's supposedly what you're supposed to get with the DH, but there's a lot more strategy that goes into it. And I love to watch the National League.
1 ball, 1 strike is the count. Pitch is high, 2-1. Well,
and there goes your paper.
There goes my sheet, and I can't go after it now. I don't know which one it was. Thanks, Andy. Popped up right here, and guess what? I was the one that was getting ready to jump.
Mr. Conkey Sorrell is going to give us a hand here. Thank you, Conkey.
2-2 is the count.
Conkey Sorrell,
and he's got a baseball
player in his day.
Up with it. Swing and a miss, strike 3. That's out number 2. Thanks, man. 2 down now, as that's going to bring up the left fielder, Paul Ham. Back-to-back strikeouts for the Crabber pitcher. Doing a good job out there right now.
Doing a real good job for a 10th grader. Paul Ham.
Matt Schaefer is the pitcher for the Crabbers.
Paul Ham, an ex-student of mine. I taught him over at Jones Middle School. They just brought him up from the JV at the beginning of the season. And, Mike, they just brought him up to kind of shore up their pitching staff, and he pitched real well against Kickingham. But he's now starting in left field. An opportunity that he took and stayed with it.
Must have been a little bit outside. 1-1 is the count.
So Paul Ham up there has impressed the coaches enough to garner a starting position in left field. And he's also going to help him on the pitching mound.
Swinging a foul tip back into the catcher's glove. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And he's a good kid. He was a good student.
Was?
Well, I'm sure he still is, but not mine.
That's right. You took credit for a couple of years.
He's a good student at Phoebus, I'm sure.
Swing and a miss as the Crabber hurler has just struck out the side for the 3rd out.
Good showing there by the young Matt Schaefer.
So the Phoebus Phantoms end the 2nd inning of play. No hits, no runs, no errors, and nobody left on. So far, the Crabbers have 3 up and 3 down the Phoebus Phantoms, 2 innings in a row. We'll head into the Bottom of the second inning with the Crabbers still out in front 2-0. Cody Sheets will lead off the... No.
Chaz Norman.
Chaz Norman does. go ahead, Paul.
They're being rough on me today, aren't
boy,
they?
I'm telling you.
If I started singing, I'd have to charge. I'd have to charge for tickets.
It's kind of funny because nobody can hear what the guys in the truck are saying, and they're saying, "Go ahead and start singing." I mean, you know, you guys got to realize I'm the one sitting next to them.
Well, they must have enjoyed my singing before the game if they want me to continue.
So leading off the bottom of the second inning for the Crabbers, designated hitter is Chaz Norman, number 10. He'll be followed by Vesey Shepard, the left fielder for the Crabbers. And it's nice out here when that wind's not blowing, isn't it?
It's always nice in a game when the wind's not blowing, especially if you're a pitcher. But I like it because when the wind's not blowing, Mike, I'm not cold.
Well, I tell you what, our first game of the year was a softball game over opening up Kickatan's new softball facility over there.
That was something, wasn't it?
And man, it was like being out there in a gale wind, and it was a lot worse than this. Not only was it blowing hard, but it was cold there. Oh, there's a shot to left field. That one's going to go all the way to the fence. Norman leads off the bottom of the second inning with a shot to left field and a double.
Tell you what, Mike, he tagged that one.
Vesey Shepard now is the batter, left fielder.
Here's a replay of that hit. Good
He got
swing.
all of it, too.
Got that one right in the middle of the bat, drove it right into the gap center, right left center.
So the Crabbers already start the inning with some wood on the ball. Runner at second base. There's a pitch that's high and a little outside, ball one.
You've got the number 9 batter up here, and the way that you would think Danny Mitchell would play this would be to bunt that runner over to third base, but he's a left-handed batter. Maybe he's going to let him try and pull it toward first. I haven't seen any signs of bunt yet.
Jesse takes the next pitch, ball. 2-0 is the count.
I think I'd want to bunt it right down the third base line here. Make the third baseman feel it.
I'm real surprised at how deep the third baseman is.
With the speed, with the speed that Hampton has.
Call strike. 2-1 now is the count. He's looking all the way.
Let's see if he does something on this pitch. Going to slow down the pace a little bit. Check the runner at second base.
There, Barnes steps off the rubber.
Not a big lead over there at second. There it is.
There's the bunt back to Barnes.
Great bunt.
Got him at first for the out, but over to third base goes Norman. So sacrifice over to third base now.
So once again, the Crabbers moving the runners and getting them into scoring position. Takes them back to the top of their lineup where their run producers are.
Sean Fields now the batter, shortstop number 1. First time he came up to bat, walked on 4 straight pitches and scored the first run of the game. Pitched a little bit low, 1-0.
5 walks on the season, 5 hits. So he's been on base 10 times. 10 out of, looks like about 18. 23, excuse me.
Oh, that one hits him. So now the Crabbers have runners at first and third, and you know what's coming. Little Matt Mitchell.
I'm going to guess
second
that Sean
baseman
Fields
now
is probably going to try to go.
You think?
Here's that pitch. Was this a breaking pitch?
Oh, it hit him on the back of the leg. Hit him in the back leg. The pitch was a little bit on the outside, inside on that one. First and third now the Crabbers. That's Fields at first and Norman at third base after the leadoff double.
You got the left-handed batter. Perfect time to have that steal. Catcher's blocked view.
There goes Fields.
And
pitch is low.
They've got the runner trapped.
Here we go with a rundown now.
Mitchell's on his way to third.
Fields goes all the way to third base. Now, which one's going to be out, fellas? One of them is definitely out. Let's see which one they're going to call out.
I'm going to say that the lead runner is going to be out, but they're going to send Matt Mitchell to the dugout and call him out.
Well, Sean Fields is the one they're going to call out because you can't take away the base. Fields is going to get called out at third base for the second out of an inning. The reason for that is because the person who already occupies that base was Norman, so he gets to stay there, and Fields gets kind of trapped in no man's land. Pitch is low, ball.
So this time the aggressiveness kind of backfired.
Great play by the Phantoms catcher, though, as he got the pitch. He threw back to the pitcher and kind of caught Norman on halfway up the line.
Well, the pitcher did the right thing, too. He ran right at the runner. Rather than making any hasty decisions, throwing it home or throwing it to third. You go to the runner, you force him to a bag, and then make the play. So they lose a base runner. But they've still got a runner in scoring position.
Most importantly for the Phantoms, though, they gained an out.
Yes.
So now there's 2 outs with a runner at third instead of 2 on and 1 out.
And that's one of those times, Mike, where you're giving the team an out you don't need to give them.
That's fouled back out of play on the third base side.
An easy out.
Well, there was definitely the youth right there.
The defense the easy out.
Well, the youth in the Crabbers right there came out. Again, Matt Mitchell behind 1 and 2 now. There's a fly ball down the third base line, and there would have been a foul ball, but what a great play out there by the left fielder.
Paul Ham
runs it down for the third out, and that keeps the Crabbers off the scoreboard on the inning.
Here's that last play. The young man, Paul Ham, just brought up from JVs, takes off after this ball into foul territory as it's tailing away. Makes a nice running catch. So, Paul Ham, there you are.
So, for the Crabbers, 1 hit. There was 1 sacrifice in there that allowed the runner to advance. 1 hit. There was 1 left on. No runs were scored. So, after an inning and a half, after 2 full innings. That's right. That was the bottom. Here's this will be good.
Let's see if we can follow this.
They'll show the rundown. They'll get him. He'll go back into the bag here, and there's Fields standing on the bag too. So look at the third baseman
now,
tagging both of them.
The best thing for him to do is tag. Now he tags the Fields.
Once Fields puts his foot on that bag, he's automatically out. He didn't have to tag him because they can't touch the bags together. So that took care of the Crabbers in the second inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. After 2 complete, the Crabbers out in front of the Phoebus Phantoms, 2-0.
Now, for those of you watching, for future reference, if you're that runner that's coming off third base is getting trapped there, and you see your runner coming to your bag, you want to be out at the next base. That way you allow that runner to stay there. Although it really doesn't matter. You end up with a runner on the base anyway.
Sean Fields forced the guy to make a decision, either go or go back to the bag, and that's the way it works out sometimes. Leading off the top of the third inning for the Phantoms, second baseman number 7, Justin Landry. His first at-bat of the game. Hits in the number 7 spot for the Phantoms. Popped up in the infield, and I can't see it because it's right in the sun.
It's right over here near first, and Schaefer looks like he's going to take it.
Schaefer takes the pop-up in the infield, 1 out. That's going to bring up the number 8 hitter in the lineup. Here's that Mike Schmidt.
Here's that pop-up.
He went straight up. When he hit that ball, I lost it because I looked right straight up into the sun. Now you know why I've got a hat on. There's another one just like
this one's the other side. It's going back behind third base. Fields is going over with the third baseman. It's going to be out of play.
Just outside of the fence, so 0-1 now is the call.
And ladies and gentlemen, in case you're wondering what Mike's talking about, we're sitting so that we're looking kind of toward the Hampton dugout, and right above the Hampton dugout, the sun is beginning to set. And as it comes down, it's going to be directly in our line of vision as we are facing toward that.
And by the time we get to the 7th inning, we're going to be doing this number here because we're not going to be able to see the
blind
play.
leading the blind. Well, if they put everything in between the lines, we'll be all right.
Yep. Ball 1. 1-1 is the count to the catcher, Mike Schmidt.
How can you not like that name? Mike Schmidt, the great third baseman for the Philadelphia Phillies. And here you've got the name Mike Schmidt. You've got to be a ball player. You can't be anything else.
Pitch is a little high and outside. Ball 2. I wonder if he gets teased by having Mike Schmidt.
Hey.
Mike Schmidt, you know. Speaking of Mike Smith, he was standing down here laughing at us because we were sitting up on this scaffold. Pitch is low ball.
Well, you know, he can laugh as long as we're still sitting up here. That's all right.
So
it's when we're not sitting up here that I'm going to have a problem.
3-1 is the count to Schmidt.
Nice
There's
pitch.
a fly ball to left field.
All right, I've got this one. It's coming down in the left, and I'm not sure the left fielder sees it.
And that is a fair ball as it bounces off his glove. I can tell you Danny Mitchell's not going to like that one. That was a ball that should have been caught.
It almost appeared as if he lost it off the bat, Mike. He started off slow, did not get a good jump on it, and as I followed the ball up and looked down, he looked like he didn't have a clue where it was. So I don't think he got a read on that ball.
So Schmidt ends up at second base on the play. I guess we have to decide whether we're going to give the young man a hit or an error. Well, I'm going to give him a double for the heck of it. I don't know what they're going to give him in the newspaper, but
with a name like Schmidt, double sounds good. But that was a tough one.
Aaron Hawkins, the center fielder, now is the batter. So the Phantoms have a runner in scored position, their first runner of the game here in the top of the 3rd inning.
And give the Hampton left fielder credit. Jesse Shepard got there. He recovered nicely, but just a step or two short and couldn't quite handle the ball.
That one's fouled straight back. It almost looked as though he wasn't going to get to the ball, and then he got there, and I think he surprised himself that he was able to get to the ball, and he looked like he may have almost tripped going down.
And tried to cradle the ball, catch it in a basket, and just couldn't do it.
So Schmidt is at second base. There's a bunt right up the middle.
Bunt.
I actually thought it was a foul ball, but Mr. Galt says nope, it's a base hit, so Hawkins gets on base.
Well, that was a nice bunt, too. He's calling him back because he was in the box. I believe that's the call. It was a nice bunt. He threw his bat right at the ball, knocked it down. And they're have a little bit of confusion. Mr. Galt's calling him back. He keeps waving him back. Catcher's not going to do anything. He's got his helmet off. He's going to send the batter back to the dugout.
Well, Mr. Galt decided at this point in time that he was going to...
Well, actually, he jumped as soon as the young man left the box. Here's the replay. You can see he throws the bat at it. Now, I don't know whether they're going to get this or not. Mr. Galt.
Yeah. It was obviously considered.
And
as a matter of fact,
out there and points it where he kicked it.
And I'll tell you right now, by looking at it, if we can see it again, he should have been called out because he was in front of the plate when the ball hit him.
Yep. Good shot by the cameraman.
Wasn't that
camera lady over in that area.
Was that
Susan? Good shot.
Oh, there's a shot to left center field. All the way to the fence, and that's going to score the runner. Schmidt comes around to score, and into second base is Hawkins with a double. So the Phantoms have struck gold here in the 3rd inning as they score on back-to-back doubles.
And Hawkins ripped that one, folks. That's the kind of hit you like to see, you like to feel, especially if you're the batter.
And that's the number 9 hitter, too.
Yes, it is.
So the next batter is the leadoff batter. This is Preston Whaley, the 3rd baseman.
And by the way, just in case they were watching, the runner that scored was number 8. It was a courtesy runner for Mike Schmidt. And I'm trying to find out, I believe that's Victor Mason, who was the courtesy runner for
If it was 8, it was
Phoebus.
Victor Mason. That's correct. Glad you caught that because I never saw it go in.
Yes, the courtesy runner.
Which means that he's not in the lineup. He's just on the base running. And this is Whaley squaring around the bunt. He's going to try to move him around and gets the bunt down. The runner had already advanced, and he's going to come all the way in, and he's down. He's gone.
Ladies and gentlemen,
double
Phoebus
play.
Trying to steal a book from Danny Mitchell's aggressive play, sent the runner from second base on a steal on the bunt, and continued him all the way home trying to steal that run, and couldn't get it.
Well, I tell you what, that was smart base running. I mean, he was doing exactly what the Crabbers do.
Here's the replay on it. He's already squared around for the bunt. He gets the bunt down. It goes toward the pitcher. The pitcher makes the obvious play, which is throw to first. First baseman fires it home because the runner from second never stopped.
But I tell you what. Let me tell you why I thought he got out, and not because he got tagged out, because he was already on his way from second base to third. When the pitcher started his windup, he was already gone.
Right, the steal was on. He was gone.
And then he got to third base and held up, and then the coach Schaefer went ahead and sent him.
Okay, I missed that. I didn't see him hold up. I thought he was going all the way.
I think if
I looked down to first, and when I turned, he was coming.
I think that was a situation where he went around and went to third base and went around it and then kind of held up.
Now here.
Here's this one. He is in front of the base path.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
See, that
looks like he
should have been out right there.
Looks like he kicked it twice.
Yeah.
Looks like he kicked it and then stepped on top of it. Great camera view there.
Got a good defense on the game right now as the Crabbers get out of that. Only giving up the run off that back-to-back double. So after 2.5, it's 2-1 now. Hampton out in front of the Phantoms. That will bring up the Crabbers' number 3 hitter. That's Matt Schaefer. The pitcher should be leading off the bottom of the third inning for the Crabbers.
You don't see too many plays like that. The one we just saw.
It was a great bunt back to first base. Actually, the bunt.
I like it.
The pitcher came off the mound and didn't have to go very far to get it, so the bunt went out there a little ways and easily got the runner, the batter, at first. And it was like a bang-bang play. He turns around and throws it right straight into home plate, and they were waiting there for him to come in. He didn't even have to slide. I mean, the actual tag was about 3 foot up the line.
He was cold dead.
Yep. Schaefer takes the first pitch, ball 1. So the Phantoms score in the top of the third inning on back-to-back doubles. They leave nobody on after getting that double play to end the inning. It takes that pitch outside. 2-0 is the count.
So now all we need is to have 2 runners score on a sacrifice fly, huh?
And we've seen a lot of the parts of a baseball game right here in 3 innings, That was fouled over here into the
dugout.
Anytime you see that, you see the players start to scramble.
Yeah, you do. That's why they got a good baseball player down there. The coach is down there. Coach Snyder's down there. He'll protect him.
A little outside. 3-1 is the count.
Matt Schaefer singled and had a stolen base and an RBI in the first inning. Young sophomore.
There's a shot to center field.
That's going to be over his head.
That's at least 2.
And he'll hold up right there.
So Schaefer 2 for 2 on the night. Leads off the third inning with a double. That's going to bring up the catcher, Ben Ferris, who had an RBI single in the first inning. Turned around and stole second and third, both.
Here's a replay on that hit. Nice swing, left-hander. Gets it right out on the bat, drives it into to center field, over the center fielder's head. You can see the center fielder, as soon as the ball was hit, he just turned and started running.
Pitch is in the dirt. Going to third base is Schaefer. Makes it pretty easily. 1-0 is to count to Ferris.
And I think we've got another courtesy runner over there for Mr. Schaefer.
Looks like
it might be.
That is number 7, Dickens again. And he was the one that went in and scored for Schaefer the first time. There's a base hit through the hole. Dickens comes in and scores for the Crabbers, and Ferris picks up another RBI.
He's 2 for 2. Nice piece of hitting there, Mike. He just went with a pitch, drove it right through the hole into left field.
And that is number 2, Bynum, who came in and ran for Ferris in the first inning.
In case people are wondering, you can use a courtesy runner for your pitcher or your catcher. It's part of a speed-up rule for high school baseball, and it's also a safety measure.
Yeah, it protects the pitcher. Gets them off the field. There's a shot down the third baseline foul. A solid hit though. Ryan Trimble, the first baseman. Danny Mitchell over there just jawing away with the third baseman. Shot back to first base and safely is Bynum back at the bag. And Whaley over there for the Phantoms just talking away with Danny Mitchell. And the pitch in the dirt low. One and one is the count to the first baseman, Ryan Trimble. Bynum again has a great lead over there at first. He's already out to the edge of the grass.
Watch for him to
and
go.
There he goes. Yep. And a fly ball to deep left field. That one's also in the gap and over to make the catch. I believe the wind held that one up.
It did.
Running back and going back to the first base is Bynum. It almost looked like the ball was held up by the wind on that one.
Yeah, Mike, that ball was hit hard. It looked like it was going to be down and in the gap with no question at all about being a base hit. And all of a sudden, you could see the outfielder who's sprinting forward. He just kind of stopped, slowed down, and thought, boom. Here's the replay.
I mean, it was a shot.
Goes there. Now watch the center fielder. See, he just kind of stops and whoa, and he comes in on it.
When it left the bat, it looked like it was going all the way to the fence. And nice play.
They got him. They got him.
So Bynum gets nailed at bag for the second out of the inning. I thought the Phantoms were getting ready to run off, and I'm saying, where'd the third out from? So Bynum gets nailed at the bag on a nice pickoff play. That's out number 2.
That was a good move. The young pitcher.
Ricks is the batter. Popped back straight towards us. Ricks was a strikeout victim in the first inning, where the Crabbers batted 7 players in that inning. Pitch is high. 1-1 is the count.
Charles Ricks, one of 2 seniors on the Hampton Crabber team.
I believe everybody calls him Ricky.
Ricky Ricks.
There's a slow curveball. Popped up to short center. Look at the wind. Pull that ball back in.
Look at it. And I'm surprised the center fielder made a catch. He came all the way in to make it.
That was a ball that the second baseman probably could have made. The wind is definitely affecting the ball going to the outfield right now.
Yes, it is. Well, you can see the flag. If you look at that right now, it's pointing right toward us, coming in, dead in, whereas it used to be going out.
So for the Crabbers in the bottom of the third inning, they scored a run on 2 hits, no errors, and there was nobody left on base. So after 3 complete, the Crabbers are out in front of the Phoebus Phantoms by a score of 4-1. Should be 3-1.
3-1.
They got 4 on the scoreboard.
I'm looking at mine. I got 1, 2, 3.
They do. They got 4 on the scoreboard. 3-1 is the score.
Did we miss one somewhere?
That's what we get for looking at the scoreboard.
I don't think I miscounted one, did I?
I didn't.
They got 2 in the first. They didn't get any in the second.
And they scored 1 now.
And they only got 1 there. Well, it's 3. It's 3-1 here, not 4-1.
They're playing the monkey song.
Everybody calling. Yes, I remember the Monkees. I'm old enough to remember the Monkees.
Paul's are giving you a hard time. Yeah. I told you doing that singing was gonna be your end.
Well, you never know. It might be a new beginning.
Well, we're getting ready to start the top of the fourth inning now. As Cleve Holbrook is the leadoff batter for the Phantoms. Popped out to the shortstop in the first inning. Feel that wind blowing.
I'm trying not to.
Ooh, that looked like a pretty curveball, but he's a little bit outside, I guess, and called it a ball.
Holbrook is a freshman playing for the young Phoebus Phantoms. He's a shortstop. According to the coach, he's got great tools, very soft hands, strong arm. He's quick and good baseball savvy.
He got that call, 1-1, as that curveball hits the corner.
Tell you what, you get a young player as a freshman to come up and play a shortstop and key position on the infield. You know the kid's got to have some potential, and he's got to be good at this point to entrust him with that.
Two and 1 is the count, and the pitch. Popped up down the first base side, way out of play. 2-2 now.
I thought it was going to drop over here, and it ended up back in the woods, Mike.
And that wind's blowing pretty good right now.
Ooh.
Straight across from, looks like it's almost coming in from left field. A ground ball to the third baseman. Over to the first for the out. Holbrook, the first out of the inning, grounds out to the third baseman. It's going to bring up Carl Barnes, the first baseman. He grounded out to the third baseman in the first inning.
Here's a replay of that ground ball to third. You'll see the third baseman pick it up, stays with it, makes a strong throw over to first, gets him in plenty of time.
That is Cody Sheets over there at third base.
Whoa, he almost came out of his shoes on that swing. Carl Barnes got a good swing on that one. Wasn't going to take. Good pitch down there.
A little low, but he took the swing anyhow. 0-2 is the count now. Had to take a slight break after that last comment I heard.
I wasn't going to say anything.
The curveball, ground ball to the shortstop coming in to make the play.
It's going to be close.
Got him. 2 down.
He got a little ahead, the batter. Got a little ahead on that pitch, had to hold back, and when he did, he couldn't get enough behind it to do anything other than tap it out to the shortstop. You watch the batter here, so he kind of holds up, and then all he can do is kind of slap at it. And when you do that, you're not going to get the ball out of the infield.
Nice play by Sean Fields out there at shortstop. He come in and got that slow roller. That's going to bring up number 15, the right fielder, Joe Carnes. Pitches inside. Oh, that one hits him in the shoulder.
Ooh.
So Carnes reaches first base on by a hit batter.
Joe Carnes.
It's going to bring up the designated hitter, Donald Grogan, who is the designated hitter today for the pitcher. The pitcher, of course, is Eric Barnes. And he's down.
Here's that last pitch. It's kind of a breaking pitch.
It hit him right in the edge of the elbow, and I guarantee you that's why he's down. That hit him right in the soft spot.
Must have got him right on the tip. It's hard to see with the shadows there, but it could have been right on the tip of the elbow. But it was just a slow breaking pitch. We're getting truck has a little bit better view. They're saying it got him right above the elbow. But it looked like an off-speed breaking pitch, which can still
it hurts.
Get you the right place.
That's like hitting a funny bone.
A funny bone?
Oh, yeah. Don't you ever remember being a kid about having a funny bone in your elbow?
All my bones are funny. Old and funny.
So while they take care of Joe Carnes down at first base, 2 down here in the top of the fourth inning. Crabbers out in front 3-1, and now they finally fixed the scoreboard. Thank you very much.
There you go, 3-1.
I thought I was lost. I mean, I'm trying to figure out where that fourth run came from, but they got it fixed now.
You know, Mike, I think what was happening was the scorekeeper was getting the score confused with the old. You remember the old group, the Monkeys? There were 4 of them in that group.
Oh, God,
here we go again. I think that's what they were doing. They were getting confused with the monkeys.
And you've been listening to the guys in the truck too much.
And I mean, now they've gone to 3. Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
Oh, yeah. Pitch is high, ball one. Ain't it fun to have to sit here and listen to those guys in the truck?
If people only knew.
I tell you what, if our folks out there listening to this game can understand what the guys in the truck are telling us.
Donnie Grogan at the plate's a sophomore.
He was a strikeout victim back in the third inning. Pops that one up to the shortstop, and Fields goes all the way over to third base to make the play.
That one was up there.
And that is the third out of the inning. Man, I tell you what, the third baseman must have lost it because he was running in thinking the ball was coming towards the plate, and Fields went all the way across, and there you go. He had to go put us on it. Yeah, we lost it first. That's right. That's right.
All these balls that they're hitting are going up in the air, and I mean they're getting up there, and the wind's getting them, and they're just taking them everywhere. So we never know who's going to catch. If we say it's a pop fly to short, it could be to third.
Well, here's an instant replay. Watch where the play was actually caught.
If you watch the batter, he was looking out towards center.
Fields goes all the way over into the bottom base path and makes the play.
And if you watch Grogan's face, the batter Grogan, when he hit it, he looked straight up and followed it, and then all of a sudden it just began to tail and tail and tail and tail.
So the Phantoms come up short again in the fourth inning, no runs. Nobody had a hit. They did leave a runner. He was Joe Carnes, who was hit in the elbow. So after 3.5, the score remains the same. The Hampton Crabbers 3 and the Phantoms of Phoebus 1.
3-1, and we're at Hampton High School at the Peninsula District varsity baseball season continues. Hampton with a record of 2-4, I believe, and Phoebus 0-5.
So the Crabbers will be coming up now in the bottom of the fourth inning. Number 5, the third baseman leading off for the Crabbers, Cody Sheets, flew out to right field. He was the one who ended that strong first inning when the Crabbers had runners at second and third after that double steal. Remember, he flew out.
5 stolen bases in one inning.
He flew out to right field to end the inning, so he's 0 for 1 on the day.
It could be night in a few hours.
Well, it's definitely night somewhere. It's just not here yet.
And Cody, batting out of that number 7 position, was batting a solid .273 for the Crabbers.
Takes first pitch for a strike. That one's upstairs for a ball. It evens the count 1-1. And, I mean, in all reality, Eric Barnes, the pitcher for the Phantoms, has pitched a pretty darn good game once he got out of that first inning.
After that first inning, he settled down a little bit. I think it was good of Coach Snyder to go out and talk to him, and it's helped him. He's keeping the ball around the plate, keeping it down.
Yeah, the Crabbers plated 7 batters in the first inning. Scored 2, left 2 on base, too, by the way. So
could have been a much bigger inning for them if things had gone the other way.
Barnes has done a pretty good job. There's a swing and a miss. That'll even the count at 2-2. Danny Mitchell out there telling them to use a little body language. I tell you what, if I went out there and used body language, I'd be hurting.
Too much body.
Yeah. That pitch is upstairs. That'll make the count full 3-2.
If you guys watch ESPN, I feel like Mike and Mike in the morning.
Now, wait a minute now. That's okay.
I'm not a metrosexual.
There's a ground ball to third base. Is he going to make the play? And he finally did. Well, I tell you what, he gave that runner Sheets a chance out running that thing because he must have pumped about 3 times before he finally threw it. But he gets him.
Preston Whaley at third base there. Almost let that runner get down to third base.
There's a replay of it. Let's see if we can see. I mean, he picks the ball up.
Good shot. Look at him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps.
Once he finally threw it, he just did get him.
Whoa. About a half a step.
So the next batter for the Crabbers, 1 out now, is the designated hitter. That is Chaz Norman. I'm sorry, the force of that wind kind of makes you change how you talk.
Hitcher.
Get that little southern accent
Hitchers
going,
and hitters.
Oh, that one's fouled straight back and hits the pole. I'm sure you heard that one.
Couldn't miss
Number
it.
10, that's the number I had when I played here. But if I remember correctly, back in them days, those numbers weren't that big on the back. I mean,
well, now
they really make it so the numbers can be read nowadays. Oh, nice slow curve
man. That's a great pitch.
Gets Norman as he doubled, by the way, in the second inning. Was stranded out there, but gets the strikeout this time as the Phantoms pitcher, Eric Barnes, gets the strikeout. It's going to bring up Jesse Shepard, the left fielder, number 4. He had a sacrifice in the second inning.
Yep.
So officially he's 0 for 0, and there's a line shot to left field.
Whoa.
Right to the left fielder. That's going to end the inning for the Crabbers. No hits, no runs, and no errors. So we have completed 4 innings of play here at Hampton High School. Crabbers are out in front by a score of 3-1. Oh, Lord.
Uh-oh. Look out. Hold me back.
Time
Hold me back.
now. Here we go. Here's a replay of that last out.
Left-hander lines it the other way. And what you can't see on the replay is, again, this wind, the left fielder came bolting across towards center field and then stopped in. And actually took a step back. Reach out.
I'm gone. I'm gone. That's it. That's all she wrote.
Reach out.
Together. That's a different song.
I'll be there. Wonderful music they're playing here, folks. Takes you all the way back to
Careful.
to years long ago. Who sang this song? Well, there was 4 of them, and they were good. Do you remember? You got it.
That's who it is. 4 Tops. Oh, you got to remember, there, the people out there watching us can't hear those guys in the truck.
I'm sorry. The 4 Tops.
So you're having a conversation with the guys in the truck, and everybody out there is saying, "What are you saying?"
We're talking about the great music that's playing here at Hampton High School. Reach out by the 4 Tops.
Let's get back to the game, folks. All right, we start off the top of the 5th inning.
Bringing you the top 40 here from Hampton High School.
It almost sounds like them. Pitch is high. Batter is Paul Ham, the left fielder, as he leads off the top of the 5th for the Phantoms.
It's a long season, Michael.
Oh, nice curveball. It must have been a little bit high as Mr. Galt behind the plate called it a ball.
We got 2-1.
2-1 is the count. Nice view on the camera there.
That's a great shot.
A foul ball straight back again. 2-2 is the count to Paul Ham. And was a strikeout victim in the second inning for the 3rd out. As a matter of fact, that inning was 3 up, 3 down, with all 3 of them being strikeouts. So he ended the inning with a K. Let's see what he can do here and get on base. Pitch is low.
Ooh, it's a pretty pitch.
Count.
Pretty pitch.
I can't see the plate.
Actually, that pitch looked good. Might have been a little low, but that pitch looked good.
Oh, there's a fly ball to left field. Left fielder stands there. He might have to run in. Let's see. No. Had that one pretty well taken care of. So Ham is the first out of the 5th inning. Hits a fly ball to left field.
And that's one of the few balls that didn't move around anywhere.
The left fielder went out there and just stood right there waiting on the ball to come in.
Ham probably didn't quite get all that one. If you watch that, you see his hands just kind of poked at it. He didn't get his body
slow
behind
motion.
it.
Watch that ball come all the way down right into his glove. That's going to bring up Justin Landry, the second baseman. He popped out to the pitcher in the 3rd inning.
No relation to Tom Landry, in case anybody's wondering. He's a 2nd year.
That means he's a sophomore.
That means he's a sophomore. Great kid.
A lot of sophomores in the league this year. I mean, the league as a whole has got a lot of youth.
Yes, it does. The whole Peninsula District is changing, Mike, going to the younger players. And I don't know what that means. Does that mean that we've got a lot of young players and the older ones are getting out?
Well, I mean, I think it's a change because there's so much youth in the Hampton school system right now when it comes to baseball as a whole. Kecoughtan's got a really young team. Bethel's got a really young team. Phoebus and Hampton both are young.
Teams.
And the big boys, so to speak, over in Newport News,
Denby, Minchville.
That's right, Minchville and Denby, they are loaded with seniors, so they're beating up on people, so to speak. But Minchville, look out for them because they got a lot of juniors on that team next year. They're going to be tough. There's a call strike 3 as Landry goes down for the second out, looking at a third strike.
You hate to see a looking third strike, don't you?
So does the coach, I can guarantee you that. Mike Schmidt, the catcher now, is the batter.
And Mike Schmidt kind of lived up to his namesake as he ripped a double.
He did.
In the third inning.
There's a swing and a miss.
That was one of those balls that went down the left field line and kind of got away.
I mean, with the youth around now, the next 2 years, it's going to be real interesting. My son plays for Heritage. He's a junior. There's only 2 seniors on that team and only 1 play.
Whoa.
So, I mean, there's 6 juniors on that team that are playing right now, and if their pitching comes around, they're going to be tough.
They'll be good next year.
They're going to be tough to handle.
And talking about the youth again, I don't know what it's like in the Newport News area, but I know in Hampton and places like Phoebus Little League and others, there's not a lot of participation as there used to be when you and I played. And I'll let you go ahead with the end of the inning here.
So Schmidt strikes out swinging for the third out. 3 up, 3 down for the Phantoms. So after 5 complete, the Hampton Crabbers are out in front of the Phoebus Phantoms by a score of 3-1. Uh-oh, here comes Motown again.
Oh, Lord, look out. Where's my mic? I've talked to several coaches in the Hampton area with Kecoughtan and Phoebus, and the Phoebus Little League is just not getting the number of players they used to get years ago. I don't know whether their kids just aren't playing baseball anymore, whether they're going to AAU, whether they're playing soccer, basketball, football.
You just hit it on the nose. You just hit it on the nose.
Don't know. Well,
AAU, and I can tell you,
you hate to think that's it.
Well, living in Deer Park, in the Deer Park area of Newport News for the last 20 years, my youngest, who now is at Heritage, played at Deer Park, and when we played, and when he was in the A-League, which was the 11 and 12-year-old bracket, they had 8 teams just in Deer Park's league, and they're down to 4.
Well, that's what Phoebus is down to.
And it all started to go downhill the year after, or maybe 2 years after Sam had finished with the league, because what happened was that's when the AAU started to grow. And now AAU is so big in this area that a lot of the little leaguers are suffering for it because you don't have the quality of players playing with them.
Yes, I'll agree with that.
And so as a whole, this area, the Little League organizations in this area, and with York County and Hampton
Newport
and Newport News, and the Williamsburg area as a whole, statewide when it comes to the playoffs, struggle big time.
Because they're losing the players to the AAU.
Well, there's another reason for that too, but there's another reason for it too. When you don't have the numbers and they're still making you play or making you field 2 teams, you don't have a chance. As simple as that. In the past, where you've got like York County, York County's little. They got one little league that encompasses the entire county, so they got a lot of kids to be able to draw from. But when you go to Newport News, as an example, or Hampton with, and your numbers of your players have dropped so far down that, and they're still making you field the same amount of teams. What happens to your team? You have no depth, and you struggle.
Your talents, I hate to say the word diluted, but it's diluted a little bit.
Well, diluted is a nice word for it. Oh, nice.
This could be 3 here with Sean Fields on the base pass. No.
So Fields leads off with a double to lead off the bottom of the 5th inning for the Crabbers.
So Sean Fields, that was his 3rd time on base this afternoon. Sean Fields was batting .294, And he's 1 for 1 officially in the game, so he's upped out a little bit.
Next batter with Fields down at second base is Matt Mitchell, the third baseman. Or second baseman,
Baseman.
Let's see if they try to move him over and get an insurance run in here. Or just let him swing away. If I know Danny, he's going to try to move him
away. I'd let Matt take a swing at this one. He bat 308 coming into this game. Handles the bat real well.
And that was a great move by the pitcher. The only problem was that he had to wait for his shortstop to actually get there. I mean, he was already spun around and ready to throw the ball, and if it was anybody at the base, he'd have been gone. First pitch to Mitchell is inside.
And last time up, Matt flew out to left field, so he was hitting the opposite way. We'll see if he tries to pull it this time.
He's 0 for 2 in the game so far. 1-0 is to count with Stephen Fields, the stealing Stephen Fields, so to speak. He's got a couple of stolen bases so far. There's a swing and a miss.
Is that the first
throw back to second base and into third base sliding is Stephen Fields.
Sean Fields.
I'm sorry, Sean.
That's
Fields.
all right.
Where am I saying Steve? Where am I getting Stephen? It is Sean Fields. So Fields now is at third base, and I apologize to Sean.
Stephen Stills.
So now you're into that music thing again. There's a swing and a miss by Matt Mitchell. 1-2 is the count. This is where I thought that Danny would have done a squeeze.
Yeah, done something. Matt just kind of waved at that last pitch like he was just trying to punch it. He needs to turn on this one and hit the right side of the infield. Like that.
Just like that. That'll
like
score.
That.
Well, maybe not.
Oh, my goodness.
I can't believe that Fields didn't come in. But Danny's standing there with his arms crossed saying, what are you waiting on?
Danny Mitchell, if you're listening to this and watching this after the game, I am shocked. I am shocked. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I just expected something.
Well, you got to look at this, too. The ball by Matt Mitchell was hit to the right spot of the field to score that run to the right side.
Here's the replay.
And if you're going to score, that would be the place to go. And second baseman looked and held him up and got the out. One down. The next batter is Matt Schaefer as he grounds the ball in the hole to right field. Fields comes in and scores anyhow, so they do get the run.
So Danny's going to tell me he knew that Schaefer was going to get the base hit and pick up the RBI.
So basically at this point in time, Matt Schaefer, the pitcher, 3 for 3, 2 RBIs, has scored a run, and has 2 stolen bases.
And Schaefer entered today's game hitting, well, I'm not going to tell you what he was hitting, but he was down there, and he's brought it all the way up above 300.
3 for 3 on the day, 2 RBIs. That's going to bring up Ben Ferris, the catcher.
And here's another young man. Now, he started the day, Mr. Ferris, batting .333. And if my math is right, and I'm not a math teacher, he's now 7 for 17, which should put him at about .412. Take the last train to Clarksville, and I'll meet you at the station.
Those guys in the truck have got to stop doing that.
They just want me to sing monkey songs. That's all it is.
And stealing second base is Schaefer safely. And now they're going to throw in a Andy Allison, who's going to be the courtesy runner for Schaefer.
Is that his first appearance today?
Yep.
First time in the game. Hello, Andy. Welcome to TV. Ooh. Well, I tell you, that pitch was a little outside, but you want to drive it to the right side. That was a good pitch to hit.
Oh, yeah. 2-0 is the count. One down here in the bottom of the fifth. There's a pitch down the middle for a strike. 2-1 is the count now. Down at second base is the courtesy runner, Andy Allison, who came in just now for Matt Schaefer, the pitcher.
Mike, that's what we call a gut pitch right there, because it takes guts to let that one go by.
That was a meatball pitch.
That was a pitch you want to be all over.
Yeah, 2-0 count for a batter is a batter's pitch, because the You're forcing the pitcher to really put the ball in the middle.
And he did.
3-1 now is the count. And the pitch. Ooh, looking right out another one, and Danny doesn't like that. Whoa. Get up there and put the bat on the ball. Full count now. Got one down here in the bottom of the fourth inning as Mitchell grounded out for the first out.
Ferris, your cleanup batter, he's got to be in there swinging at those pitches.
Fouls that one straight back. That was a high pitch. That would have been ball 4.
But Mikey's put himself in a position now where he's going to have to swing. Yeah, you hate to see that happen to a good young hitter like that. But
the first 2 strikes that were called on him, he looked at, and they were perfect pitches down the middle. And he's the cleanup batter. He ought to be driving that ball. And there's a nice slow curveball, fly ball to right field. That'll probably advance the runner. Allison
got the
tag
runner
up
tagging
and reach third. Ferris flies out to the right fielder to get the second out of the inning. It's going to bring up Ryan Trimble, the first baseman.
Have they got 2 stolen bases in this inning, Mike?
Yes, they do.
Oh, goodness.
Sean Fields had a stolen base from second to third, and Schaefer, before he was relieved of the bag by a courtesy runner, actually stole second.
Yeah. So they've got 7 in the game.
There's a pitch that's in the dirt. Allison down at third base goes back. Ryan Trimble, the batter, he is 0 for 1 officially. He walked in the first inning, was stranded at second, and flew out to center field in the third inning.
And Trimble struggling a little bit here in the beginning of the season. Good young kid, though. He'll come around.
Pitches up above the eyes.
Weather warms up. Muscles will loosen up a little bit. Hands will get a little bit quicker. And maybe the wind will stop blowing.
Please. Curveball had him full. Little pop up to the first baseman. Gets him out.
That ball couldn't have been more than 50 miles an hour. And he had him all off balance. I guess he hit him with his best shot on that one, didn't he?
So a little pop up to the first baseman from Trimble for the third out of the inning as the Crabbers do score a run on 2 hits, and they left a runner at third as Allison was stranded. So after 5 complete, the Crabbers now have 4 runs. And it's 4-1 Hampton over the Phantoms of Phoebus.
And they've got 4 runs up there on the board. Ladies and gentlemen, this is WHCS Channel 46. We're here at Hampton High School, Peninsula District Baseball, as the Phoebus Phantoms take on the Hampton Crabbers at Hampton. I'm Paul Rowe along with Mike Hauser. We'll be calling this game for you today. We have a couple of more games, one baseball game and another softball game for WHCS Channel 46. Your Hampton station, where all the sports you want, all the sports you need, and all the sports you're going to get are right here.
That's right. It's all you're going to get.
What do you got to say about that, Scotty?
We got to talk about our crew here, too, today. You got Susan Bowers over there on top of the truck.
Oh, and let me tell you, folks, she's the shots you've been seeing toward third base and left field, those are great shots, and Susan's the one that's been getting those shots. Susan, fantastic job.
Who we got out there in center field?
You know who that is? You know
Braxton?
who that is. That's Braxton.
Yeah.
That's Braxton.
Of course, we got Scotty Bowers as our director in the truck. Oh, nice ground ball, just foul. We had a nice view of that one up here in the cage, so to speak. That was fouled by about a foot.
And we could watch that one roll stitch by stitch almost.
Got Andy Foley is in there doing all our graphics for us.
Andy Foley.
Don Sherrouse, the engineer, the guru, the guy that tells us all the stuff in the microphone and hits, that starts making us laugh.
And a hard worker. He comes running all over the place doing everything.
How much of a raise did you say you wanted?
Raise?
There's a ground ball to the shortstop and the out for the first out, and that was Aaron Hawkins.
Raise? Hey, I'm afraid this is the only raise we got on this scaffold today.
We're about 6 foot off the ground. And here's a replay of that last ground out.
Just kind of stood in there and smacked that one right to the shortstop. Fields took a little hitch there as he double pumped, but he knew he had plenty of time.
So with one down now, that's going to bring up the third baseman, number 9, Preston Whaley. Whaley in the first inning flew out popped out to the shortstop, and then he grounded out to the pitcher for the second out of the third inning. 0 for 2 now officially. And yeah, the wind is blowing right straight in from center field. Look at the flag. It looks like a straight up and down flag now looking at it. All we can see is the front edge of it.
Man. Well, I'll tell you what, you put the ball up, though, you never know where it's going to end up.
They have 2 American flags flying.
Yes, they do.
One in left center field and one in, almost left center field, one in right center field. And the one thing I don't see this year out here on these fences is all the advertising boards.
Oh, you're right. It's gone.
Last year they had a lot of them out here.
Well, maybe it's because of the 2 flags. They have dual citizenship, and they can't have the advertising.
Start singing.
The jokes aren't working. Okay.
1 ball, 2 strikes to the batter. That's Whaley.
Ooh, here's your sign. Oh, nice off-speed pitch.
Curveball. A little low. 2-2 is the count. One down here in the top of the 6th inning. This game's going along pretty quickly since that first inning.
I'm surprised. The game started at about 4:32, and it's not quite 6 o'clock. That one's coming up, and it better not come down on my head.
I can't see it. I have no clue where it is.
It's back there somewhere.
Either way, the pitcher has a new ball. It's a foul ball out of play. The count remains the same.
If it comes up here again, you stand up and stand over me.
2-2 is the count. Pitch is high. That'll make it full. 3-2.
Well, Phoebus needs to get something going here, Mike.
Down 4-1. 6th inning. They're down to their last 5 outs now with 1 out here in the inning. There's a ground ball right towards the. Well, I thought we were going to be able to sign us up a third baseman down there, but Coach just let the ball go.
Who was that, Snyder?
Snyder sticks his hand out and says, no, that one was hit just a little harder. I don't have a glove on. Now, if Whaley can straighten that one out, that was a nice hard shot. He pulled that one pretty good. He did it again. This time it's out of the park. Foul ball.
Foul out of the park, yeah.
The ball was hit almost right over top of our camera sitting up there. That camera gives you a great shot across the pitcher's mound towards the first base area. But I tell you what, it's sitting there all wide open for a baseball to hit it. And there's a shot into the gap.
That's going to be 2.
All the way to the fence. Whaley gets his first hit of the game. A 1-out double to left center field. And he kept that ball low enough where the wind didn't grab it.
Yes, he did. He got a good drive on that one, and Phoebus needed that hit. It's a big hit for them. They need to capitalize. It's the 6th inning here. Phoebus, normally a good hitting team. They've got the top of the lineup. The number 2 batter is going to be up here in just a moment. They get some speed on the base pass. They need to make something happen and get a couple of runs here.
You know, like you said, they got the meat of their order up right now. 1 out, runner on second base. This is the number 2 batter in the lineup, shortstop Cleve Holbrook, number 18. Swing and miss on that one. He popped out to the shortstop in the first and grounded out to the third baseman back in the 4th. 0 for 2 is Holbrook on the day.
Talking to Coach Snyder before the game, he can't say enough good things about these kids, Mike. He says they work hard. They come out every day. They give everything they've got.
Curveball a little high and outside. Well, you know, that is the key. Coaching staff, the assistant coach here, Dickie
Van Dyke
has been around a long time.
Yep.
He and I played together here at Hampton.
Wasn't he in a TV program there at one time with Mary Tyler Moore?
Wrong, Dick Van Dyke.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And I guarantee you he will tell you that too. But the other one, got a lot more money than he does.
Got a lot more money than both of us do put together.
Mr. Van Dyke and I played Little League at Hampton with together, so that ought to tell you something.
Oh, so he's
an old guy, too. Yeah, he's an old man, too.
I wasn't going to say anything.
Ooh, that's a little bit inside. 3-1 is the count. One down here in the top of the 6th inning. Preston Whaley, the third baseman for the Phantoms, doubled. He's down there at second base. And there's a drive to right field. Ricky Ricks there to make the catch, and moving from second base to third is Whaley on a move on the out. So now with 2 gone here in the 6th inning, that's going to bring up Carl Barnes, the first baseman. He's grounded out to the shortstop, grounded out to the third baseman. He is 0 for 2 in the game.
And he's in a good spot here. He's got the runner at third. All he needs is
a nice curve ball and a grounder to the third baseman. And the throw and the out. So looks like after that double by Whaley to kind of start the inning, he gets stranded at third base. No runs for the Phantoms. No runs, 1 hit. There was 1 left. So after 5.5, the Crabbers out in front by a score of 4-1. And we'll be back, I guess, in a couple of minutes. Is they going to change the tape on us?
I think they are going to change it. That'll give me time to...
All right, now the tape has changed. We're back here to start the bottom of the 6th inning. That's Ricky Ricks, who leads off the inning for the Crabbers, flies left field for the first out. Ricky is 0 for 3 now on the day. That's going to bring up Cody Sheets, the third baseman, who also right now 0 for 2, flies out to right field to end the first inning and grounded out to the third baseman. Yes. That wind is picking up again. Grounded out to third baseman in the 4th inning. And again, he's grounded to the shortstop. Let's see if he can get him. That was a lot closer than they wanted that to be. Got the out, though. Goes 6-3 in the book. That's going to bring up the designated hitter, Chaz Norman.
There's that replay here. He grounds that ball right to short. Nice play, smooth, makes a good.
See how close it was.
Catch.
Man, that was close.
Look at that, half a step. And that's a downward step that we're talking about.
Takes the first pitch for a strike. Norman doubles in the 2nd inning, strikes out in the 4th, so he is 1 for 2 on the game. 4-1 here, Hampton out in front of the Phantoms, and here we are in the bottom of the 6th inning.
And the Crabbers with 7 hits so far in the game, and the funny thing is, talking to Coach Mitchell, he said the team was in a little bit of a slump as far as hitting. They said they weren't hitting it quite as well as he wanted them to.
We got a big player of the games here for 2-1.
Yeah, we do, don't we? He said the biggest thing is we can't give Phoebus any more outs, and we've got to play some tough D and make the fundamental plays, move the runners.
Swing and a miss, 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2 down here in the bottom of the 6th inning. So who do you think we ought to pick as Hampton's player of the game?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say we ought to pick a player off the 2 teams that we've been watching here.
You think? That one's fouled back here out of play over the first base dugout. You're going to go out on a limb on that one, right?
There's one player here that I think.
Oh, no doubt.
Is
not just because of that too, but
right, exactly.
Right there. Yeah. I think that's almost a shoe right there.
Yeah.
Pitch is high. 2-2 is the count. Well, now on the other hand, there's you're going to have to flip a coin. I think
there's a few up there. There's a few up there.
I think he's done a pretty admirable job.
Very credible.
Of course, people out there are saying, you guys talking about, we're discussing a player of the game. There's a fly ball to right field, and the wind grabbed that one and actually made him run towards the baseline. But he gets the out for the 3rd out, and that's going to end the 6th inning for the Crabbers. No hits, no runs, no errors. Nobody left on. So after 6 complete, the Hampton Crabbers out in front by a score of 4-1 over the Phantoms. So the Phantoms are have their last 3 at bat outs here, and now we're whistling, being happy, huh? One thing you can say about coming to Hampton High School, they got the music during the innings. I'm telling you.
Don't worry.
Now, leading off
happy.
for the Phantoms, that's right, we're happy. Leading off for the Phantoms in the top of the 7th inning should be the first baseman, number 10, Carl Barnes. So they're in the meat of their lineup now. The number 3, 4, and 5 hitters.
I think they might be 4, 5, 6. Didn't Carl Barnes make the last out?
Yeah, he did. Boy, I'm
Joe
telling you, you're
Carnes
quick.
up there.
You're quick.
Don't worry.
No,
Be happy.
don't worry. Somebody will keep me straight. So you're right. Joe Carnes will be the you're sitting here trying to listen to what the umpire's telling you, and we're laughing at what they're telling us in the
they're
truck.
They're telling me something in my ear.
So Joe Carnes, the right fielder, will lead it off for the Phantoms here in the that's right.
For those of you just tuning in, this is Tommy and Dick Smothers bringing you the game from Hampton High School.
You ought to see it. You ought to see, and you ought to seen Paul walking in here with the bass player today. There's a fly ball to center field, and center fielder comes in and makes that play.
Yeah, the center fielder, second baseman, shortstop, and left fielder all out there because, frankly, Mike, you don't know where the ball's going to go when it gets up in that air.
The wind definitely has a bearing. Looks like we've got a pinch hitter here. Number 20, Kyle Shoemake, now will be pinch hitting for Grogan.
Kyle Shoemake. That's a name I remember from last year.
Pinch hitting here in the 7th inning.
And Mike, I guess we're going to have to get on the ball and do this, seeing how this is the 7th inning.
Well, go for it. We already got who we wanted. Go ahead.
What do you think? Go with, we know we're going to go here.
That was fouled off into the dugout. Yeah, he in all reality, considering everything's happened offensively on this side, he's done a great job.
He has. I'll go with that, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll go ahead and give their player of the game for the Crabbers in. How about that?
Go right ahead.
Our player of the game for the Hampton Crabbers is the pitcher, number 13, Matt Schaefer. 3 for 3 on the day, has 2 RBIs, scored twice, and has 3 stolen bases. What a great afternoon for Mr. Schaefer.
Congratulations, Matt Schaefer. A whale of a game.
And you go ahead and take care of the Phoebus.
Well, Mike, for
player.
the Phoebus side, we've got a young gentleman that didn't get 1 hit in the game. In fact, he never picked up a bat. But he stood out on the mound, and he has thrown a good ball game. He got roughed up a little bit in the first inning, but he settled down there, and he's done real well. When the game ends, you're going to see that he's allowed 4 runs. But half of them came in the first inning.
Right.
After that, he settled down, has pitched real well, kept his Phoebus team in the ball game. Unfortunately, he hadn't been able to get the hitting support from his team today. Phoebus with only 3 hits in the game, and that, of course, another one of the reasons Matt Schaefer is the player of the game for the Hampton side. He's pitched a great game as well, but the young pitcher, Eric Barnes for Phoebus, is going to be our player of the game for Phoebus because of his outstanding job on the mound today.
There's a pitch to Paul Ham, the left fielder. Call strike. 1 down here with a runner at first for the Phantoms. That is Kyle Shoemake. Or let's see, they've got another runner out there for Shoemake, and I didn't see. I didn't see his either. We were talking about who the players of the game were, and that's fouled straight back. I can't see the young man's number. That's number 0, and number 0 for the Phantoms is Larry Atkins. He's a 12th grader. He is a senior. There's a pop foul back here again. 0-2 is the count to Ham. Players of the games, both of them are the pitchers of the game.
winding down near the end of this game, and Mike, prophetically almost, is that a word, prophetically? Coach Snyder, I'll wait till this pitch is over. What a pitch. Great pitch.
Looking at a strike 3.
That ball came from right field and broke in. Coach Snyder was saying before the game that they can't beat themselves. You know, if they were going to win this game today, they've got to make the fundamental plays because Coach Mitchell is going to run you all over the place. He's going to have his team ready, and he was going to have to make sure that they played a great game. Phoebus has played a good game. Defensively, they played well. On the mound, they played well. The only thing that let them down today was their hitting.
Well, let's look at Matt Schaefer for the Crabbers. 3 for 3, scored twice, 3 stolen bases, has pitched a great game,
Exactly.
3-hitter, and he has 6 strikeouts.
Mm-hmm.
So choosing him as the player of the game for the Crabbers basically is a no-brainer. I mean, the Crabbers as a whole played pretty well.
Yeah.
Defensively, they've done a pretty good job.
And we say it's a no-brainer, but you have to remember.
He has stood out.
Yeah, he has. He stood out among a bunch of players that have done well today. Sean Fields has scored twice, been on base all 3 times with a double. Ben Ferris, 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and has 2 stolen bases. So they've had some good players with some good performances today. But as Mike said, I'll tell you what, Matt Schaefer, outstanding today. And
2 balls and 1 strike now.
We get to watch him for another 2 years. In addition to the rest of this year.
And he's got one thing other than the fact he's done well today that is a major factor for him. He's a left-handed. He's a left-handed pitcher, and there's not a lot of those around, and so that's an item in itself that will go a long ways if you can get a left-hander that can pitch.
And obviously he can do that.
There's a pitch.
There's an example of it right there.
Full count now. Justin Landry, the batter. Full count. Standing over at first base after receiving a walk was Kyle Shoemake. It's now Larry Atkins.
Mike, as the Monkeys used to say, this might be the last train to Clarksville.
Here's a ground ball in the hole.
And
great play. Does Schaefer make the play? And
the umpire says
he called him safe.
I believe we're going to have a little bit of an argument here from the players.
I guarantee you, I guarantee you that our replay will show you whether he was safe or not.
And here.
Oh well, maybe not. We'll look
Danny.
and see as Danny Mitchell now has called timeout.
Well, let's watch.
Let's see
replay.
if the play was made at the base. He's got the ball. He did.
Out.
Well, I don't know. It looks like he touched the base.
If he touched it, he was out. But
here's they back it up. He did. You look at his ankle.
He touched it.
And the umpire at first base calls him safe.
Look at that. That's great.
No, the
camera
umpire
work
did
right
too.
There. Great camera work.
Even though the coach is hollering safe, it looked to me as though when he hit the back of the bag, you could see his ankle twist.
Exactly.
So from our vantage point, it looked like he made the play. Either way, the umpire called him safe.
Yeah.
The Phantoms have runners now at first and third, as Landry will pick up a base hit, believe it or not.
And folks, you have to remember, we have the advantage of the instant replay and the slow-mo. We get to see it from a great angle.
That was a bang-bang play.
The umpire was out towards second base. He was in the middle of the field behind the pitcher's mound at second base, making the call from there. He calls it the way he sees it from there. We had the great angle shot. So we got a little more life for the Phoebus Phantoms here at Hampton High School.
And they're not done yet. This is going to bring up their catcher, Mike Schmidt. He doubled in the third.
We got a pinch hitter here.
Oh, number 22.
Number 22.
Well, number 22 is not on my roster for him, so I don't know. I don't know who he is.
Number 22 is Travis Washington.
Okay.
That's what it looks like, Washington. Travis Washington, number 22. Left-handed batter to face a left-handed pitcher, kind of odd.
Yeah, especially since Schmidt, who would have been the scheduled hitter, has already doubled in games.
He's one of the 3 hits here today and scored the only run. Or actually the
pitcher runner.
The courtesy runner.
Yeah.
For him.
A swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes is the count, so we Phantoms may be down to their last out here.
Washington trying to keep it alive for the Phantoms. They'd like to get a win here. Oh,
there it is,
right
as he looks at the third strike and strikeout number 8.
And that's a good way for Schaefer to punctuate this game.
So, final score here for the Hampton Crabbers, a victory over the Phoebus Phantoms by a score of 4-1. Again, a player of the games. Go ahead.
For the Phoebus Phantoms, the pitcher number 11, Eric Barnes.
And the pitcher for the Hampton Crabbers, Matt Schaefer. They are our players of the game. Again, final score here. Crabbers 4, the Phantoms 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, turn out the lights. The party's over.
Mike Hauser along with Paul Rowe, the singing Paul Rowe. We'll take care and we'll see you next time.
See you on the slip side.